Hey y'all, I'm the Midwest Hack, and behind me is a 1966 Allis-Chalmers Series 4 D17. This week I drove a little over a couple hours across Iowa to pick this thing up, and right now I'm kind of wishing I'd left it there. Now why would I say that about a brand new tractor to me? Well, turns out this thing's got a lot of problems. The seller let me know about a couple things right up front. In his ad, he told me that there was a head gasket problem going on. And he also said that the lift arms on the back wouldn't go down. When I talked to him on the phone, he then let me know that one of the brakes didn't work. But when I got there and started looking this thing over, I found a lot more problems. When looking this thing over and checking it out with all the problems I found, I just about walked away. In fact, I was gonna walk away, but I decided while I was there, I'd throw a lower offer at him. He countered, we ended up haggling back and forth a little bit, and we settled on a slightly lower price than what he was asking. I was okay with that based on what I had found, but when I got home, I found some more problems. So at this point, I'm kind of stuck with the thing. Let me bring you in closer. We'll take a look at, I don't know if I'll cover all the problems I found, but I'll try and cover most of them. Come along with me. If you're paying close attention, you may notice that one of the problems I already mentioned, the lift arms not going down, has already been fixed. These lift arms are down. In order to fix this, I pulled this cap off here, 2 little Allen screws. The spool in there gets sticky. It's spring applied to the front. That spring may not have enough force to move it back forward. So I freed that spool up. The arms are now down. One problem fixed, many more to go. The next problem we're going to look at is actually something I noticed when I was looking at it, but I didn't put together how serious it was at the time. I noticed this looped hose comes out of the side of the tractor, loops around, and goes right back into a port right next to it. I knew that wasn't right. I knew the factory didn't do something like that, but what I didn't realize is what this was supposed to be. These 2 ports are supposed to feed up to your hydraulic filter. There aren't any lines going to the hydraulic filter. Somebody bypassed the hydraulic filter. The hydraulic oil in this has not been running through the filter. That's a big deal to me. That's something I'm really not happy about. Who knows what kind of shape the hydraulics in this machine are in. Perhaps that's why that back spool was sticking. While we're in this area, I guess I could point out one of the other problems I noticed. We've got loose wires hanging everywhere on this. I'm not sure where this one goes. Over here, we've got speaker wire that's been repurposed. I think that's going to the coil. Wires just wrapped around, linkages in here. You can't tell from your angle, but most of the wiring going to these gauges has all been disconnected or is cut or broken. The wire throughout this whole tractor is a mess. Kind of expected on a 1966 machine. The wiring's not going to hold up great, but there really isn't much to it. It's not hard to keep this wiring in good shape and functional. And this tractor is nowhere close to that. Now this is one that I did notice during the inspection. The seller didn't seem to be aware of, but this tire's got a giant slit in the sidewall. You can actually just see the inner tube through part of that there. This tire's shot. I've got a couple new ones coming. Figured while I'm replacing one, there's quite a bit of cracking in them. We'll just go ahead and replace both and keep them matched. This is another one I noticed what I was looking at. The power director here, for those that don't know, that's basically a high-low. High is forward, low range is back. But when you put this forward into high, it doesn't always stay there. Once in a while, it'll pop back out into neutral. I didn't realize what a problem that was until I got to researching it when I got home. Turns out that's actually where in the power director. In order to get to that, I'm gonna have to split the machine. All right, this next one is maybe a little minor, maybe a little bit nitpicky, but this muffler isn't the right one for the machine. Looks like somebody took a muffler that they could get to fit through the hood, cut the opening in the end of it a little bit bigger, welded on a big enough pipe that they could clamp it on here. Pretty crude way of doing it. It's just not well done. Pretty sure it is leaking where it is clamped on because it's not the right size still for the pipe that's there. Has a pretty good bark to it anytime you put it under load. Just too loud for what this machine is supposed to be. The other thing, much more major, is the head gasket. Of course, that one was disclosed. We knew it had a head gasket problem. Of course, you can't really hide it. You can actually see it when the tractor's running. You can actually see it bubbling a little bit at the back of the head gasket. I'm a little concerned what I'm going to find there. That could be a pretty significant problem if the head or the block are damaged. Hopefully it's just a gasket, but we're going to find out. This one again might be considered a little nitpicky, but in the photos in the ad, there was some sort of pad or cover or something on this seat so that you couldn't tell how bad a shape it was in with the holes actually rusted through it. Perhaps they just had a jacket sitting on it. Who knows what the deal actually was, but when I got there, of course, this seat is shot. You can still sit in it, you can still operate in it, but that's another thing I'm gonna have to change. All right, y'all, this is another big one for me. This is the PTO lever here. You can see down at the base of it, there is an extremely ugly weld on there. It looks like this PTO lever got broken off at some point or broken free from the shaft, and somebody did a very bad job of trying to repair it. As of right now, that PTO lever is not moving the shaft. It is just pivoting back and forth. It doesn't feel exceptionally loose on there. There's not a ton of play. So my hope is I can grind that old weld off and put a new weld on it while trying to keep that shaft cool enough that I don't cook the seal. Boy, I'll tell you what, guys, I don't have high hopes for this one. This one's got me concerned. No PTO in this tractor makes it pretty useless to me. All right, y'all, we're getting near the end. Only a couple more things to go. The fuel gauge in this doesn't work. The float is actually laying inside the tank. Could see it when I looked inside the tank to check for cleanliness. On the plus side, the tank is fairly clean. The other thing, I have not yet seen the temperature gauge move, so I'm pretty sure that's broken. Actually wondering if that has something to do with the blown head gasket. If this thing perhaps got super hot with no temp gauge reading and overheated and wrecked the gasket. I also am strongly suspecting that the ammeter is not working. I haven't seen that do anything. So gauges are our next thing on the list. All right, y'all, two more things I want to mention. One's kind of a big deal. That's the brakes. The right side brake doesn't move at all. A little bit of play in the first part of the linkage, but the rod that goes back to the axle underneath doesn't move at all. It's frozen completely solid. Left side does move some, but the left brake doesn't seem to do anything. It's certainly not working correctly. The other thing you may notice is that the release lever for the bottom link of the snap coupler setup is missing. Turns out you can't see it from up there, but it's actually the rod is actually broken off down below. So that's going to take some work to get straightened out. Oh, and one other thing about the brakes. They seem to be dragging. You drive this thing for very far and you can smell, yeah, well, I wasn't sure at first if it was burnt clutch or burnt brakes, but I've since decided it's burnt brakes. So that kind of does it for my laundry list of problems with this machine. Some of them aren't too major, some of them are pretty major. Overall, it's a long enough list that I really wish I hadn't bought this. Now that I've got it, we're going to start going through it and see if we can get everything fixed up. Kind of brings me to the question of where do I start? I've got front tires ordered for it, so those are going to be getting done. I've also got a head gasket kit ordered for it, so I'm going to start stripping the head off of this thing to be ready for that kit to show up. Hopefully I don't find any more problems. It's just the gasket. Doesn't seem likely, but we'll see. However, before I spend any more real money on it, one of the first things I got to take care of is that PTO. If I can't get the PTO going in this tractor, it doesn't do much good for me. Hoping I can get that fixed from the inside. I really do not, or from the outside, I really do not want to split this tractor to get that fixed. I'm hoping to wait on splitting this tractor, hoping to kick that down the road a little bit. But thanks for stopping by. I'm glad to have you with me. Until next time, y'all take care.